Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator, and in this video we're going to talk about something fun that just happened, the auroras, and this is a CBS article here, and we're just gonna, we've all seen a lot of pictures of the spectacular display that we had over last weekend. They're everywhere across the world, pretty much. As down as far south as Florida. I have a friend that posted incredible pictures from Florida, and right, it was spectacular. The sunspot that had the solar flare come out of it. Okay, that right there. I mean, there's a lot of solar flares going on. Even during the eclipse in Cleveland, there was, I saw I think it was NASA's own pictures, where you could see solar flares in the corona during the eclipse. But it says right here that, this is where the solar flare that created all of this came out of, and that it is, the scientists as a colossal sunspot, approximately 15 times the size of our planet. Okay, they said the immense feature spans an astonishing 124,000 miles. Now, I've even read, 15, 16 times the size of the diameter of the planet of Earth. So that's like the equivalent of putting Earth, side by side 15, 16 times right there. That spot on the sun where we had this huge ejection that, just created these absolutely spectacular shots that, and maybe more to come. But the thing is right here on SGTReport, this was May 14th, 2024. Now, Sean, over at the SGTReport, the corporate propaganda antidote, now he won't tell you anything about the environment. That's, or expose environmental voices, but he put out this from Rhonda Wilson in Exposed News, that Haarp's aurora switch was turned on last week to create artificial glows. These days, I don't know, like some of the pictures that I saw, I was like, I've seen the Northern Lights a couple times, not that, I'm a huge expert on them, but I mean, we've all seen pictures and pictures, and there was just a hue about them that kind of seemed a little surreal, and I wrote it off to, well, I mean, it's this colossal sunspot. It was a huge solar flare. That's why, these spectacular colors in Northern Lights are going down as far as Florida. But this article here, SGT, says, according to corporate media, a powerful geomagnetic storm caused by a solar flare triggered the spectacular display of the Northern Lights. The storm was strong enough to cause disruptions to power grids and communication systems, but, also created breathtaking sights for those who were able to see it. And the thing is when you come down here, it says that Dr. Robert Malone, and when you click on this, you get brought to this page here, who is Robert Malone, and it is the Robert Malone that you've been hearing about. I am an internationally recognized scientist, physician, and the original inventor of the mRNA vaccines. So that is who we're talking about here. And it says that Robert Malone used Perplexity, a subscription-based AI program, artificial intelligence program, to search for Haarp aurora May 10th, and posted the results to his query as well as the sources the AI program used on his Telegram channel. And perplexity answered, on May 10th, 2024, Haarp conducted experiments to artificially create aurora-like glows or ear glow in the ionosphere by exciting electrons with high-frequency radio waves, making the invisible visible experiment tested if hot electrons produced by Haarp's radio transmissions could generate an aurora-like phenomenon called Steve strong thermal emission velocity enhancement. And so they say here, we conducted our own. So, that would be the Rhonda Wilson up here of Exposed News. And they created their own query using Brave's free-to-use AI summary, typing in the same query that Dr. Malone, Robert Malone, used. And Brave AI answered, high-frequency active auroral research program, that is Haarp. And, I'm sure people around these video hosting places know about who Haarp is, was involved in a research campaign from May 8th to 10th, 2024, which coincided with a spectacular display of the aurora borealis on May 10th. According to reports, the Haarp team announced that they would be conducting tests from May 8th to 10th, 2024, and the press release specified the operating times. And they say, the research campaign was conducted in Alaska, and the ionosphere was heated with X-mode HF waves, resulting in bright luminous spots in the ionosphere and disturbances of the magnetic field on the ground. This experiment was part of a 4-day period of testing where lights were expected to be observed in the Alaskan sky. Well, more than the Alaskan sky got that. So, and then a few minutes later, a query to Brave's answer, which is Microsoft's Copilot, free-to-use AI, summary included with the Bing search engine. That's a lot just to talk about a search engine. And they say the May 10th spectacular display captivated viewers around the globe. Unusual solar activity, particularly coronal mass ejections, CMEs, and solar flares, sparked the ethereal phenomenon. Charged particles from the sun collided with Earth's magnetic fields, creating luminous auroras in the sky. These lights were visible even in locations where auroras are rare, such as parts of the United States, Europe, and New Zealand. And it does say here that, however, an alternative theory suggests more intriguing origin. On the same day, Haarp facility in Alaska conducted experiments to artificially create aurora-like glows in the ionosphere using high-frequency radio waves. Haarp simulated electrons to generate ear glow. The experiment, named Making the Invisible Visible, aimed to determine whether Haarp's radio transmissions could produce a phenomenon known as the Steve. And Haarp, controversially dedicated to studying the ionosphere, has sparked public interest due to its nature of its work. So while the natural solar activity played a role, Haarp's experiments may have contributed to the mesmerizing aurora seen on that day. So, and Microsoft Copilot does add a note to the effect that its AI-generated answer could be wrong. Like most everything else you get in search engines these days. So, interesting. I mean, no one knows what Haarp is doing up there in Alaska, and, they say that it's even mobile, and there's a couple of them around the world too, stationary ones, I think, and, some may be mobile, but once again, you're just playing with nature. I remember hearing about Haarp when I first heard about it, and I was like, managing the ionosphere? Seriously? I'm pretty sure the ionosphere has been doing pretty good on its own, and this is just another thing that's playing with nature. And okay, so maybe we got some nice glows out of it, but I don't know. I think they're doing it for more nefarious purposes, if they're doing it. But right there, with Haarp being so secretive and Dr. Robert Malone, being somewhat credible, I mean, he put it out there. So I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility. So just a little tidbit about the spectacular displays we've all seen lately, people. Stay tuned.